Welcome to Olds Mob 455. I'm Paul, and today we're working at the shop and going on with this project in the Javelin 1968. The engine that's going to be installed will be a 401. That's the biggest engine that AMC made, and the owner is going with Indy cylinder heads, which are a great improvement over the stock. And they're not going to be cast iron, they're going to be aluminum, so the car will handle better and they flow much better. And when you have that much flow, then you can use more cam timing. And while he's buying a cam, he wants to go with the roller cam. This engine is going to be a full rollerized motor with the roller cam, roller rockers. And in order to do an update with roller cam and an old block that wasn't designed for it, we need to control the cam walk. In a roller cam, if you're familiar with this, you're going to realize that nothing is keeping it from walking back and forth in the journals. There's a kit that you can buy to do this, but here at Olds Mob, the owner likes to do a lot of the stuff himself. You get more involved and you feel good that you save some money. He just took his old cam and chopped it off where he's using the two journals. He took the thrust plate from a small block Chevy, and we're going to use it on the AMC engine. So you see how it fits on there? A washer was made to fit right inside there. And the timing gear has to be recessed away because this is occupying space, where before this was up against the block. So you have to accordingly machine the same thickness off of there. Then the big trick is to drill the two holes into the block that mount this plate to the block without poking a hole through an oil line or, in the water. So that's our project today. We have a drill press set up that can keep the block perpendicular, and we've got it set to the right height. We've already put this here and the bolt and set the stop on the drill press, so we don't need to drill any further than what we really need to. So here's another situation where a lot of people think you got to spend a lot of money, but the owner here ended up buying this used bandsaw. There were some issues. He fixed it up. How much you got into it?
Couple hundred
$100. Bandsaw always comes in handy. A lot of people think, oh, he cut a cam, aren't they hardened? It cut through here like butter. Then he machined off all the cam lobes, so you're not banging around as there's brand new cam bearings in there. So you can see this was like that. And this is what the cam lobes look like. He just took them all off. And this is going to be our jig to make sure we get those bolt holes drilled in the right place. So these are a transfer punch that will make sure that we get this into that hole on the block and we center drill and not make any mistake. They got a little point, they fit right in that hole. They're all different sizes. There's a whole kit. Just make a tap, and then we'll end up using a regular punch, make a better hole, and we'll get our holes right where we need to have them.
Is it filming?
Yeah.
We should have done this before the block was cleaned for assembly, but it's kind of an afterthought, so we're trying to keep it as clean as possible here with masking off the front of it.
It's supposed to be a light.
Put some oil in it. Yeah, turn it on. Not doing like that.
maybe for a lot of you people, we're just talking very general, and you're like, no shit, Sherlock, we know this, but to some people that never do any tapping, we just don't want them, you know, we want them to avoid the pitfalls. When you go and get a tap, somebody might give you, this is a bottoming tap. That's what you'd want to finish up with. But to start a tap, you'd want something that's tapered and centers up your tap so you don't go in it half cocked and then have to pull back out and then the upper threads get screwed up. So we're going to be starting with this, you know, tapered tap and then probably go with the bottoming tap. Don't think that we're going to do this under power. We're just doing this because everything is lined up, and now that I got it down there, this is straighter than I could do by hand. Then I'm going to just twist the chuck and a little bit of force on here to just get it to start. Until you can't turn it, then you'd have to back off, because all you're doing is deforming the metal and the chips are getting into the grooves, and then you back it off and well, you can see that the threads have been started already. I don't know if the camera is going to pick up on it, but we've drilled and we set these stops down so it's just the right depth for the bolt to hold that retainer ring for the wear plate, and we did not penetrate any oil or water jacket or the oil feed lines. We're tapping it with the bottoming tap because the starter tap doesn't have as deep as threads. Now I'm going to go all the way to the bottom so we got good thread all the way to the bottom. I'm just putting a little bit of force. It's actually pulling it in. I could go like this and you'll watch it. So it's going down as I thread this in. Got a little bit of resistance. Just, you know, I'm just making the threads a little bit deeper. Are you watching that more? Hit bottom. Now I'm backing off. This is a situation where we're doing this job to guarantee that these two holes are going to be in the exact place for this plate, but you would do it throughout your whole car. Anything that requires two bolt holes, get one started, it's drilled, and to definitely make sure this is going to fit, we aren't going to make that other hole until we've got everything all fitted up. And you'll guarantee that the other bolt's going to go in. We're going to use this regular punch because you can use more force with this one than the expensive ones that we want them to last as long as possible. Saves on the tip, and then we're going to put a bigger dent with the punch that you can always resharpen. Threads are really easy. Man, she's pulling, I'm just putting a little force in here and sucking her down.
This gear here used to look like this one, and this face is what would keep the cam from going backwards in the block. And that's been machined down on this gear to accept this. And I was playing it both directions for oil clearance. So here's our plate installed, and this recessed area will go this way. And when it's all bolted together, the cam, besides the 5,000 clearance that was machined into the back of this cam gear, it's not going to be able to go in or out.
When we were working on this, you saw that washer in there? Well, that was simulating the distance that this gear and the thickness of this was going to be. When it's finally finished and we assemble this will fit like that, and it clears the bolt heads, and it'll spin like that, and this cannot go up or down. Done deal.
Are you done yet?